Womp womp. Gonna be doing a review on Killers of the Flower Moon, the newest Martin Scorsese movie with Leo and other people. Nero. All right. Shout out the rest of the cast. This one's gonna be a quick one because, in the sense of intersexual dynamics, this movie was really cut and dry. I was expecting it to be more, Leo driven movie where there's more relationship dynamic. This was just more of a sad story than anything. I mean, what else can I say? Also, if you guys couldn't tell from my last episode, yes, I am completely sick now. So my voice is going to sound a little off and I will be like doing that, right? So apologies in advance. I know that sounds gross. All right, let's jump right into it. First things first, when we have the first scene with Leo meeting his uncle, De Niro, right away they have a conversation about their past. Then we get into their ideals and their frame when it comes to females. So we get a little bit of background with Leo, and we get an introduction to his stance, right, on intersexual dynamics. Right off the gate, he's showing a abundance mindset. He was deployed overseas. I believe it was France. De Niro asks him, "Did you bring back any diseases? Did you wrap up?" Which is a good advice slash tool. It's actually one of the Iron Rules of Tomasi, which is based in the 30s, 1930s, 1940s. This is still very good advice, disease wise, right? So Leo says, "Yeah, I wrapped up for some, and then for the other ones, maybe not." So he's showing that he's a little wild, has an abundance mindset. He also seems to have game, but he has that dumb person game from back in the day, that cowboy game where their lower IQ was seen as play because they just were so bland and had the mind of a child. So it came across as game because it was really truthful, if that makes sense, right? So we carry on, and he has games because this is the next scene. We're jumping straight into it when he meets this female and they are talking. This is after he picks her up in the cab as she's leaving some kind of bank or whatever. And they have this interaction for the first time. She has a masculine frame. She can tell right away, this guy wants something from me. And in these times, it's expected, right? Whenever people got married, there was a business proposal between families or whatnot, or it was just in people's best interest to get married off, right? There's just too much benefits, not much downside, one way or the other. So, yeah, he's showing that he has game because whenever she tries to shit test him, like, "Oh, you like me for my money? What do you want out of me?" He's like, "Yeah, I do like you for your money, blah, blah, blah." He just flips it on his head. He agrees and amplifies. That he does that beautiful tactic that never fails. She eats it up, too, because she's like, "What the fuck am I doing?" Like, this guy's... Because he's gaslighting her into being like, "No shit, dumbass. Of course I want something out of you. Why else would I be talking to you or trying to form a relationship? Are you dumb? Right? Do you think I care about you because I care about you? No, this is the fucking 1940s where this shit's common, right? It's a mutual agreement. Marriage, for the most part, is a business decision during these time frames, right? So she eats it up. He has game, man. He has game when he talks to her. But again, I think this game is just like him naturally in his character, right? Kind of naturally just being dumb. But when you're dumb like that, and it kind of just shows your true masculinity just comes out because you're truthful and they're playful and whatnot. So it works out for him. So on to the next scene. You can tell he doesn't accept the burden of performance. We have our first glimpse into his dark side. And by dark side I mean who he really is, and it kind of sets a tone for the rest of the movie. He's out robbing some people for their jewels with his brother and an acquaintance. And they rob some people of their jewels. Couple on the street in the middle of the night. And this shows that although he does have a work being a chauffeur and being in the military in the past, being in the infantry, he doesn't really have the masculine, he doesn't accept the burden of performance in the sense that he doesn't focus on himself. This just, you can tell a lot about a person that they live their whole life and they come out to just being thieves, right? Why would you go through all that? Just so you can end up being a thief. There's nothing more despicable, right, for someone to just kind of quit on their life after they've accomplished so much. You would think someone at this point would understand, hey, I shouldn't be doing this shit. I can marry a rich wife and just do. But obviously this character has bad influence around him, always has, always will, and that's no good. So yeah, not accepting the burn of performance, not good. So we carry on. So we start to see that if it wasn't obvious already from the scene when they're talking for the first time, he's trying to marry this chick. Excuse me. He's trying to marry this chick for her bloodline. The film gives off a lot of exponents. They just kind of blabber it all out and give us the meat and potatoes right out the gate. The uncle, De Niro in this case, De Niro's character, he's telling his nephew, Leo's character, hey, she's a rich woman. We could have her rights to her side of her inheritance. Proximate and go straight to the ultimate goal of wanting to settle down with her, which is, again, it kind of expected at this time frame, because I mean, if you put yourselves in their shoes, you do have some semblance of positive femininity, I guess, if you can call it, or just right old contract females available to you really at around every corner. Let's say you're walking down the street and you see a chick, right, 18, she's still living with her parents, and you're like, oh, she goes to church, blah blah blah, I want her as a wife. You jump straight to that ultimate goal. You don't want to, where they're at her house, she invites him in for dinner, Leo and his wife, before they get married. She invites him in, says, you want some dinner? Sure. So Leo's character goes in there, and again, he shows that great he has, passing her shit tests, agreeing and amplifying, and you could tell he's just a natural, really. That like dumb country boy thing from this era, it's just always play, always kind of charismatic and obvious. They're not telling you the truth outright, like, yes, I want to marry you for your money, but they're playing with it and making her come to her own conclusions and painting that picture in her head, like, yes, dumb female, I want you for this purpose. He's not telling her outright, he's just saying, why else would I want to marry you, or why else would I look at you this way? And she talks about, do you like to drink? He says, yeah, I like whiskey, whatever, and they have a drink, so on and so forth. The rest is history. But he is kind of overt, but again, his game basically erases the evil aspect, and he just gaslit her. And yeah, I mean, that's basically it. Then we fast forward again. It's gonna be a quick one, guys. I'm gonna make this one quick because there's not really much to the intersexual dynamic to this movie. It's just kind of a sad story more than anything. There's more plot than romance or whatever. So I found this scene interesting. Like, this is halfway through the movie or whatever. They're entering a Masonic temple. You can see it right away because of the checkered board floor and the two pillars. And you're like, is that what I think that is? And then they zoom into the pillars a little, and you see the Freemason sign, the triangle, like the Assassin's Creed kind of sign. And you're like, what the fuck? That's like, that came out of nowhere. Because they never really gave the hint to it. It was just like really a surprise kind of scene in the movie. Then De Niro's character goes off and says, oh, I'm a 32nd degree Freemason, whatever. And they just start spanking Leo's character because he got caught trying to do insurance fraud. I thought it was out of left field, but okay. I mean, yeah, just watch some Zerka if you want to get some knowledge on that type of shit. Kind of interesting, but read the Bible, man. We carry on, and Leo's family plan. Now we get this all kind of confirmed later on in the film. If it wasn't obvious from the jump, later on in the film they just make it. They paint it right out in your face, word for word, bar for bar. They're telling you, yes, Leo's family plan is to get Leo's wife to get the will rights for her money because she has a rich mother. She has 4 sisters or 3 sisters, whatever. And their plan is to get those sisters killed, get the mothers killed, get Leo to marry this. Excuse me. Get Leo to marry this female, and then eventually kill her off, and even Leo get killed off because the uncle has him sign his will rights to him. Uncle has Leo's character write in agreement that if he dies, his inheritance from his wife and all of whatever is left of him to go to Uncle. So it's all Uncle's master plan to just get everything by this series of murders. And it was working out until the female character went to Washington, D.C. and asked the president to help solve these mysterious murders of these Native American Indians. And yeah, they do the right thing. The U.S. government, what? The U.S. government does the right thing? What? What the fuck? So they go out there, they send the FBI agents. The FBI agents, by the way, they're pretty cool. Too bad they weren't in the movie that much. The movie was just kind of bland. I'm not gonna lie, man. It was a sad story, but it was bland. It wasn't like a awe-inspiring film. It was whatever, honestly. Yeah. Anyway, so we also see that Leo doesn't have any frame. Sure, he has game, but he doesn't really have frame because his wife is so stubborn, and she knows there's something fishy going on, obviously, because her sisters are dying off. She's getting really sick. She knows deep down her husband's trying to plot on her, and she feels real bad. She's had all this traumatic experience. Would you consider her a war bride, even though it's her husband causing all this trauma to her? What would it be? Because, so we have Alpha Widow, we have War Bride, and then we have, what else is it? Alpha Widow, War Bride. I'm missing one. It's a third one. It's that love triad I mentioned in that Troy video. I'm trying to think. Ooh, Stockholm Syndrome. No, that's War Bride. Man, I can't think of it right now. What the hell? I'm gonna watch me end the stream, and as soon as I click stop stream, it's gonna come to my head. But anyway, I don't know what she would be considered, but yeah, she's having all this trauma going to her head. So yeah, this guy doesn't have no frame. That's Leo's character. He's just kind of being pushed around the whole film by his wife, his uncle, this and that. He doesn't feel like a main character. He feels kind of like a side character, which is funny. It makes the main character the female and uncle. It's weird because they're controlling the main character and they're kind of pushing him to do this, do that. So yeah, that guy has no frame. He needs frame more than anything. But then again, he's a bum. He doesn't have the burner performance, so he doesn't have a spine. And that's really the important part of why you want to accept the burner performance and max out your trinity. Otherwise, you're going to have people like Uncle and your wife walking all over you, and you are not going to know what to do. Which in Leo's case, he ends up suffering a loss of a child and whatnot. And he gets sent to jail. Spoiler alert. Right? So he tries taking back Frame later on the end of the film. Because it seems like he does care for her. Again, she's kind of stubborn and she kind of pushes him to do the right thing. But we later on get to a scene where it looks like he has one itis because whatever he's injecting into his wife, the doctors give him this serum, this little potion to mix with his wife's insulin, but he also drinks it in his alcohol. So he puts half in his wife's insulin, half in his alcohol. At this point of the film, it could either mean two things, because he knows what's going on. It's either he's trying to kill himself because he has one itis for his wife, and he wants to go out with her, and he loves her that much, or he's just a coward and afraid of going to jail. Pretty sure it's the latter. He just seems like a spineless rat this whole film. Yeah, he's a rat. That's the best way I can describe it. And Leo does a good job playing that, like Paris from Troy. If you guys haven't seen that review either, check that out, because Orlando Bloom played a great rat. So rat all around. Rat score 10 out of 10 for Leo's character. And yeah, sad story for these people. That's really about it for the intersexual dynamics aspect about this film. So I'm going to try to find some more films that are kind of like popular and mainstream. I was thinking of doing Batman up next for the next review. I think that'll be a cool film to jump into the mind, the praxeology side of things. But anyway, yeah, moving forward, this is basically the outro. I'm just going to do a little mini announcement. So moving forward, I think if it isn't clear already, these movie reviews of the Red Pill Lens, they're not really going to be a movie review, but more of a intersexual dynamics breakdown of the relationships in this film and understanding the roles these characters play. Are they blue pill? Are they red pill? What's what? The other review I did was Spider-Man. Kind of talked about how that was like my childhood. That was literally the movie that brought me up. It's all the earliest memory I can think of is Spider-Man, this film. So how deep that blue pill indoctrination was, and how sad it is to look back at it and realize, damn, that's the shit they were putting in our head. So yeah, it's a mind fuck. But yeah, sorry if I make it a movie review, which it is. It kind of is, but at the same time, not really, because it's like a different kind of review. But yeah, I just want you guys to be aware of that for the future. So thank you guys for joining me. That's it. See you guys on the next one. Bye.